Hi, I'm Mike Neundorfer with Advanced RV, and this is
Mike Griffiths, also with Advanced RV.
and Mike G has many roles here, including communication with Mercedes-Benz and helping clients select their chassis options. He orders their chassis and he tracks production and delivery of the chassis. And today we want to discuss changes that we'll see in the 2023 Sprinter chassis. We're pretty well connected informally with Mercedes-Benz at a lot of levels. We get both formal and informal information on what's coming and other things as far as Mercedes goes. Mike, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2023, I'm sure people have seen in the blogs that MB is changing the motor to a 4-cylinder, and that's confirmed. It will be a 4-cylinder engine. But the benefit is it is going to be 20 more horsepower and 13 more foot-pounds of torque than the current 6-cylinder motor. This motor will also be a biturbo engine, which means that there'll be a turbo feeding a turbo, which what that's going to do is help eliminate the turbo lag that most typical Sprinter vans have. It'll also be paired with a 9-speed transmission, which what we're understanding that is going to help it stay within its power bandwidth more frequently. It's going to improve the feel of the 4-cylinder.
Think it'll make it quieter?
Yes, it should be quieter. From experience, our 4-cylinders have been quieter, and with the increased 2 gears in this transmission, it should be quieter as well.
Yeah, based on my experience with the old 4-cylinder, and actually Freebird, which we just built, has a 4-cylinder engine. It is quieter at highway speeds, and that old 4-cylinder doesn't have the power or the torque that this one has.
Correct.
And it was paired with a 7-speed transmission.
Yeah.
And I think this one will even be quieter yet.
It should be. And another benefit to this motor too is that it's going to be B20 compliant. So a lot of concerns are with biodiesel across the country. It will be compliant up to a B20 biodiesel mix.
How about the all-wheel drive, Mike? Do you want to talk a little bit about how it works and what difference it is from the 4-wheel drive?
Yeah, absolutely. The all-wheel drive, first off, it's a model that's been used in Europe for a few years now, and I believe it's a model that's based off of their SUV class. What's really beneficial about it is currently with the 4-wheel drive, you have a 60-40 split of power from front to rear. The all-wheel drive is going to be a 50-50 split. So it's going to give you a more even distribution of power from front and rear wheels. And it'll be full-time all-wheel drive, so you won't have to select high-low, figure out what the sweet spot is to shift it into high. Another really nice benefit is that it's going to eliminate the shudder. Most people would notice that when they're taking off in a 4-wheel drive, it's got a little bit of a shudder before it goes, and this will be eliminated.
Mike, what about mileage between the rear drive and all-wheel drive and the current 4x4? What do you think the mileage difference is going to be? Has Mercedes said anything about it?
They haven't had any set in stone data, but our speculation with some conversation from other people at MB, it'll be about 1 to 2 miles per gallon increased fuel mileage with the 4-cylinder.
Over the 4x4 now?
Over the current 4x4 now.
Okay, so the current 4x4 now is at 1.5 to 2 miles per gallon lower than the rear drive. Mm-hmm. So if we gain that back, the new all-wheel drive should be a similar mileage to the rear-wheel drive now.
Yeah, should be.
And it should be essentially that much better than the 4-wheel drive.
Correct.
The other thing we'll lose with the 4-wheel drive, and something I really enjoy, is the low range. So
Correct.
That won't be available. But I think that with the 9-speed transmission, we'll gain some of that higher torque, slower speed operation. And then the other thing that's a big deal, and many of our clients order all our 4x4s just to get the additional chassis height clearance. And so that was something that we wanted to confirm with Mercedes early.
Yeah.
And what do you hear, Mike?
Yeah, they confirmed that the 4-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive will have the same 3.5-inch ground clearance. So we won't lose anything since they got rid of the 4-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive will have the same ground clearance.
So the ground clearance on the all-wheel drive will still be 3.5 inches higher than the rear drive, right?
Correct.
Mike?
Yep. And one of the benefits to the new model is the cab chassis. It will now be available in an all-wheel drive model with the increased ground clearance.
So the B-Box will be available on an all-wheel drive.
That's correct.
Which is a big change. Safety options, cab design.
To our understanding, there are no changes in any of that. The cab's going to be the same, the body's going to look the same, no extra features that they intend on adding. It's really the motor and drivetrain that'll be different.
In 2019, the seats were improved significantly, both in adjustability and in comfort. The ergonomics of the cab is awesome now. I mean, there's a place for the passenger and the driver's cell phone with enough angle so that it stays in there. The head unit is amazing in its clarity and its function. It's pretty simple, and CarPlay and whatever.
Yeah, Apple CarPlay, Android, the creature comforts in the van that Sprinters didn't have for the longest time.
How about overall weight?
So there's nothing spec'd yet for the weight, but the thought is that if anything, it might be 100 pounds or so less than the current chassis, but
we don't know that.
We don't
yet.
know.
And they won't speculate, but they say it's not significant.
It's not significant.
Our contacts.
No.
So one of the benefits of our 2-year lead time, that gives us the advantage of being able, since we custom order the chassis from Mercedes, and these chassis, the vans, come from South Carolina now. The cab chassis behind us come from still Dusseldorf. But we order the chassis within a month or two of the original deposit. And in cases where it's between model years, we change the model year to the latest model year early in the order. Mike, maybe you want to talk a little more about that.
Sure. Yeah, so what happens is we order the chassis when we get the deposit from the client within a month or two. And falling into this time frame, all of our vans being ordered now will be 2023 vans, including some of the ones we currently have in backlog. But what we really try to do is to make sure that the client is getting the most current model that we can when we place the order. The important part to that is, I know some of the thought is, well, let's wait till the 2023 model's out to order it. That just puts you further down the MB ordering queue, not just with ARV. So if we get the order in, it'll be in the queue sooner rather than later, and it will be a 2023.
Yeah, so but we're not into pushing people into anything or making a big deal, but just so you know that you'll have a 2023 if you order now. Even if we can't order it officially now, we'll get the word to Mercedes, and then as soon as we can order a 23, we'll put your order in. So Mike, thanks a lot for everything you do with Mercedes, and thanks for getting up to date. I know that we have contacts all through Mercedes. That doesn't mean we can control anything.
That's the truth.
We don't have a lot of influence. It's a little bit like trying to influence the German government. I think they're so big, but their people are awesome, and because of our relationships of respect and you've done a great job with getting information and getting things done. So anyway, thanks a lot, Mike. It's been great chatting, and I hope that you find this interesting.